Thank you, Noam and Robin. I'm very hopeful that this is the first event out of many in the future. I would like to invite you all to use the resources that we have in the Cary Graphic Arts collection at RIT. It was founded in 1969 in Rochester, New York, and it is one of the world's premier libraries on graphic communication history and practices. Our library holds over 45,000 rare volumes, printed leaves, and over 130 archival collections of noted printers, calligraphers, and designers. The scope of our collection is extremely wide. It spans all the way from cuneiform clay tablets, ancient scrolls, medieval manuscripts, and various printing technologies. And it goes all the way to contemporary book arts, as you see here, the artist book by Andy Aronovitz and Yuda Miklaf. We also hold a technology collection that focuses on preserving the heritage of letterpress printing. We maintain working printing presses and all the additional equipment that is needed for printing, and it is being preserved through its active use in a wide range of activities like classes and workshops, special events, and visits from scholars and artists in residence. As you can see, this very large historic collection is very much alive, as is our motto in the Cary Press, preservation through use. And I hope that Lina Vedenka will be sharing her experience with us of her residency back in 2021. These are the 4 points that I want to quickly cover today: cataloging Jewish type, promoting the access to our collection, supporting research, and a quick note about why I feel that typography research is so important. So when we talk about cataloging Jewish type, there are a few things we need to consider. From my experience in the Cary, our typeface collection includes thousands of metal and wood fonts, the majority of which are American-made, and up until 2014, all of which were exclusively of Latin characters. In an effort to expand the collection coverage of global scripts, the Cary acquired a very important and rare collection of about 40 fonts of Jewish wood type. In 2020, I joined this very, very long process of converting these letters that have been gathering dust in storage for years into archival objects that are accessible for printing, teaching, and research. And in terms of cataloging this collection, in 1991, David Wall created a descriptive catalog for the Cary Latin wood type collection, and that is the schema that we are still using in the Cary today. The classification system he devised was based on the structure of the letter forms, and it was tailored to the types that were in the collection at the time. It has 4 levels of hierarchies that translate into a call number. The first is the typographic class, for example, serif. The second and third are typographic subclasses in groups, for example, Tuscan subclass and Clarendon group. And finally, the font level, in which the individual fonts are numbered sequentially in the order that they were acquired. And this is the level where additional information is stated, like the size, the description, manufacturer name and date, and so on. I was tasked with adapting this existing Latin schema for Jewish type in the Hebrew script. And that was quite a challenge. Most of the features and information either doesn't exist for Hebrew or is just irrelevant. We can't really call these typefaces. The design or the designers are clearly absent. And there's no established terminology. So that was definitely where I kind of needed to come up with a lot of informed decisions and come up with a naming schema and a system that would work for Jewish type. At the moment, I'm working on a publication of my methodology, and I'm hoping that this could be a useful tool for future cataloging type, Jewish type, any kind of realia, kind of help us maybe uniform and unify our resources. Moving forward to promoting the access to our collection. Following the cataloging process that I've just described, today we have a total of 4 different type collections. They're all wood type, and I'm currently developing the metal type collection. Each of these collections have its own finding aid that includes all the information that is available and how to access it, including a link to our digital collection that has images of the specimens, their type forms, as well as their printed proofs. So this is a PDF that anyone can download for free for any type of purpose. And these are especially exciting news to me when I hear back from designers and researchers that kind of share with me how these resources are actually meaningful and useful for them. And I hope that Jay Saper would be willing to share with you how he created vectors out of these images and created a new wood type for his press. The second action that we're involved in is conducting a lot of workshops at RIT. And these could be for students of RIT or visitors. If you are interested and you're around or you're willing to make the trip, we are very excited to host anyone who's willing to come in and use this collection in our press room. Next, I want to touch on how we can support typographic research. The first is the fact that we offer reduction services. So if you search our catalogs and you find anything that you need for your research, you can contact me and we can digitize those resources and send you the images, whether these are Jewish type specimens or archival documents. Whatever it is, the only thing I should mention is that you should be patient with us. It might take a while, but we are very happy to offer this kind of remote access to our rare collection. And the second thing that we are offering in terms of support is our summer research fellowship. So we are providing 2 summer research fellowships, which include funding for 1 month of focused study in the Cary collection. The fellowship is open to scholars engaged with subject areas that are covered by our library's holdings. The first one is the Cary Research Fellowship. It has to do with our general collection holdings. And the second one that we've just opened this year is the Stephen O. Sachs Endowed Research Fellowship, and it is devoted specifically to the research of letterpress printing. I'd like to kind of wrap up and share with you my recent discovery and why I feel so strongly about typographic research. And this includes another shout out. In September 2022, I attended Barbara Mann's seminar online called Peretz, Kafka, Chagall, a Jewish Modernist Triptych. And in one of our sessions, Barbara covered Chaim Nachman Bialik, the poet, writer, editor, translator, publisher, Israel's national poet. I assume it doesn't need any further introduction today. And she specifically talked about one of his poems, Lifnei Aron HaSfarim, before the bookcase. So this is a poem that he publishes in 1910. And this is the time where he lives and works in Odessa. He's co-founding the Moriah Press publishing house, and he's purchasing a printing press. He's going into printing. This is a very long poem, and it's describing Bialik's mental position. He's far from his Jewish origins and now has returned to the realm of his childhood and discovers traditional Judaism placed in a corner, humiliated and trampled. That's a very short quote that depicts this very well-researched poem in terms of Jewish literature. But when I am reading this poem with my typographic bias, a specific paragraph jumps out. Like strands of black pearls, their string cut. Your text column are for me, your pages have been widowed, and every single letter is orphaned onto itself. I'm able to think about our specific words that are also typographic terms. So when we talk about your pages have been widowed, a widow is a typographic term. It occurs when the last line of a paragraph is not able to fit at the bottom of a page or column. Instead, it sits at the top of the next page, looking out of place. This is a very frowned upon practice. You should really avoid it. The next one, orphaned. So orphaned is kind of the exact opposite of a widow. It's when the first line of a paragraph sits at the bottom of the page by itself. I've read about how Bialik is referring to himself being orphaned, and definitely a lot of interpretation that goes on. I wonder if we can look at it through this additional interpretation. Going back to the first line of this paragraph, like strands of black pearls, their string cut. String was used to wrap around a type form when it was moved from the composing stick to the galley. Here's a good depiction of this very, very fragile, delicate process. So you can see the string is wrapped around the form maybe 4 or 5 times. The loose end needs to be tucked behind the wrapped string in a very specific way in order to keep the binding tight and to ensure easy release when we're untying this form and starting to print it. So I investigate, and I found that the National Library of Israel actually holds Bialik's manuscript of this poem. And when I'm zooming into that specific paragraph, I'm also seeing that there was some iteration here. And nit'almenu dapechem was replaced by nitparda hachavila, translated to your bundle, package, parcel was separated. I wonder if this is a case where we can offer an additional interpretation, and this bundle or packet or parcel could be a printing form. This is a very open question. I'm by no means a literature researcher, but I am very excited to share this and hear from other scholars if you think there might be a case here. And if so, I strongly feel that this would be another case study that shows why is it so important for us to study typography and to understand the production methods of the literature, of the text, of the documentation that we are researching when we're researching Jewish print culture. To me, it feels like there's a whole other layer of information that is today so far removed from us, from our reality, that it's very, very difficult to understand unless you're actually practicing it. I do feel it is essential for our understanding today of those specific Jewish publications. On a final note, you've noticed how many people I've kind of mentioned today. I really do feel that it takes a shtetl. We are a community, and I think that the more we come together and share our resources and information, the greater we'll do. Thank you.